iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. To show the love.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Hey, folks, today is Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live from Atlanta. I'm here at Chastain Park. I'm here for an event with Accra, and shortly Trombone Shorty is going to we'll be playing here, and so we'll be attending that particular event coming up on today's Black Start Network, folks. President Joe Biden proposes a gas tax. Not a gas tax, but actually a 3-month gas tax holiday, if you will. And Republicans are already complaining, but I thought y'all said you wanted gas prices to go down. He's also encouraging states to do the very same thing. An African American who was accosted by 2 white men in Florida. We were talking with them on the show today. Of course, they threw a rock into his car. Remember, one of them was actually fired when he worked at a Black-owned McDonald's. We'll talk to the folks involved. Also, on today's show, in our HBCU segment, I will talk with the president of Lane College about how things are going for that Tennessee school and what his vision is, and how we here at Roland Martin Unfiltered inspired him to examine how he is leading that school as well. Also, the Senate moves closer to voting on a critical gun bill. And we have more of the testimony of the two black women who went before Congress yesterday, who testified about how the thugs who support Donald Trump impacted their lives and how they have been fighting just to keep these people from attacking them. Their testimony was so shocking, it was so brutal, and we wanted to talk about it for a second day. So all of that coming up next on Roland Martin Unfiltered, right here on the Black Star Network. It's time to bring the funk. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's Uncle Roro, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Hey folks, Roland Martin here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. I'm broadcasting live from Chastain Park. I'm actually here in Atlanta for an event with folks at Accra. Yes, I'm sitting in one of their cars. And so it's quite warm here in ATL, so a lot cooler sitting in the cabin of this car. Plus lots of noise out there because the concert's about to be starting soon. So that's why I am going live from the car. Folks, yesterday, two black women from this state, from Georgia, went before the Congressional Committee and investigating the events around January 6th. And they talked about the impact, how their lives were impacted, how they were targeted, how they were, the vile and destructive things that were said to them by people who support Donald Trump. Now, prior to their testimony, it was Congressman Benny Thompson, who is the chair of the committee, who laid out what the public was about to hear.
I now welcome our final witness this afternoon. Andrea Shea Moss. Ms. Moss worked in the Department of Registration and Elections in Fulton County, Georgia, from 2017 until 2022. In that job, Ms. Moss handled voter applications and absentee ballot requests, and also helped to process the vote count for several elections. In December 2020, Ms. Moss and her mother, Ms. Ruby Freeman, became the target of nasty lies spread by President Trump and his allies as they sought to overturn the election results in Georgia. Ms. Moss and her mother, Ms. Freeman, are two of the unsung heroes in this country, doing the hard work of keeping our democracy functioning for every American. Ms. Moss, welcome. Thank you for your service, and I thank you for being here today. I will now swear you in. Please stand. Do you swear or affirm on the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please be seated. Let the record reflect that the witness answered in the affirmative. Ms. Moss, thank you very much for being here today. I understand that you are here along with your mother today. Would you like to introduce your mama? Hi, Mom. Ms. Moss, today we'll be asking you about some of the threats that you received following the 2020 election. Since you've been an election worker for over 10 years, I want to ask you, in your decade of service, Had you ever experienced threats like these before? Don't be nervous. Just, I understand. So, and I want to make sure that the record reflects that you've done it for quite a while and you never received a threat, and your answer was no. Thank you. Pursuant to Section 5C8 of the House Resolution 503, the chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Schiff, for questions.
Now, folks, Shay Moss was called out specifically by name by Donald Trump, and that's what caused his supporters to go after her and her mother.
President Trump make these false allegations repeatedly during his call with Secretary Raffensperger. Let's listen to a portion of what he had to say about you and your mother.
We had at least 18,000, that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly. 18,000 voters having to do with Ruby Freeman. She's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer and hustler.
Donald Trump attacked you and your mother using her name 18 times on that call. 18 times. Ms. Moss, can you describe what you experienced listening to former President Trump attack you and your mother in a call with the Georgia Secretary of State?
I felt horrible. I felt like it was all my fault. Like, if I would have never decided to be an elections worker, like, I could have done anything else, but that's what I decided to do. And now people are lying and spreading rumors and lies and attacking my mom. I'm her only child. Going to my grandmother's house. I'm her only grandchild. And my kid. It's just, I felt so bad. I just felt bad for my mom, and I felt horrible for picking this job and being the one that always wants to help and always there, and never missing not one election. I just felt like it was my fault for putting my family in this situation.
Good afternoon, Ms. Moss. Thank you for being here. I understand that you were employed by the Fulton County Registration and Elections Department for more than 10 years, and I understand that you love that job. Please tell us what made you so fond of the work that you did.
Well, I've always been told by my grandmother how important it is to vote, and how people before me, a lot of people, older people in my family, did not have that right. So what I loved most about my job were the older voters. Younger people could usually do everything from their phone or go online, but the older voters like to call, they like to talk to you, they like to get my card, they like to know that every election I'm here. And like even college students, a lot of parents trust in me to make sure their child does not have to drive home. They'll get an absentee ballot, they can vote, and I really found pleasure in that. I liked being the one that, you know, if someone can't navigate my voter page, or, you know, they want a new precinct card and they don't have a copy machine or a computer or all of that, I could put it in the mail for them. I was excited always about sending out all the absentee ballots for the elderly and disabled people. I even remember driving to an hospital to give someone her absentee application. That's what I love the most.
In addition to the personal impact this experience has had on you and your family, one of the things that I find most disturbing is how these lies discourage longtime election workers from continuing to do this important work. Tell us, if you would, of the other election workers shown in that State Farm Arena video and their supervisors. How many are still election workers in Fulton County?
There is no permanent election worker or supervisor in that video that's still there.
And those horrible things, did they include threats?
Yes, a lot of threats, wishing death upon me, telling me that, you know, I'll be in jail with my mother, and saying things like, be glad it's 2020 and not 1920.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Your mother was kind enough to come speak with us earlier. Let's listen to her story in her words.
My name is Ruby Freeman. I've always believed that when God says that he'll make your name great, but this is not the way it was supposed to be. I could have never imagined the events that followed the presidential election 2020. For my entire professional life, I was Lady Ruby. My community in Georgia, where I was born and lived my whole life, knew me as Lady Ruby. I built my own business around that name, La Ruby's Unique Treasures, a pop-up shop catering to ladies with unique fashions. I wore a shirt that proudly proclaimed that I was, and I am, Lady Ruby. Actually, I had that shirt on. I had that shirt in every color. I wore that shirt on Election Day 2020. I haven't worn it since, and I'll never wear it again. Now I won't even introduce myself by my name anymore. I get nervous when I bump into someone I know in the grocery store who says my name. I'm worried about who's listening. I get nervous when I have to give my name for food orders. I'm always concerned of who's around me. I've lost my name, and I've lost my reputation. I've lost my sense of security, all because a group of people, starting with number 45 and his ally, Rudy Giuliani, decided to scapegoat me and my daughter, Shay, to push their own lies about how the presidential election was stolen.
Ms. Moss, how has this experience of being targeted by the former president and his allies affected your life?
It's turned my life upside down. I no longer give out my business card. I don't transfer calls. I don't want anyone knowing my name. I don't want to go anywhere with my mom because she might yell my name out over the grocery aisle or something. I don't go to the grocery store at all. I haven't been anywhere at all. I've gained about 60 pounds. I just don't do nothing anymore. I don't want to go anywhere. I second guess everything that I do. It's affecting my life in a major way. In every way, all because of lies. For me doing my job, same thing I've been doing forever.
Now, folks, Donald Trump and his supporters literally said that Shay received a flash drive with voter data on it. It wasn't a flash drive. This is what it was.
In one of the videos we just watched, Mr. Giuliani accused you and your mother of passing some sort of USB drive to each other. What was your mom actually handing you on that video?
A ginger mint.
A mint. A ginger mint. Bringing my panel right now, A. Scott Bolden, lawyer based in Washington, D.C., formerly with, of course, National Bar Association Political Action Committee, Monique Presley, legal analyst, host of Make It Make Sense with Monique Presley, Eugene Craig, CEO, X Factor Media, Inc. Monique, this hearing was yesterday. And the reason I want to discuss it today, because I think probably out of all the testimony thus far, this has to be the most shocking and infuriating for Black people. And frankly, it should be for anybody. My parents worked the polls.
Yep.
Dad, 75, Mom, 74. Should be 75 in November. I think back to last year, they spent 7 weeks with me here in Virginia. They were here for 4 weeks, but they flew back to work a special election.
Yeah.
They could have skipped it. They could have said, hey, we visiting our son, we're not about to pay. But they flew back to work the election and then came back to spend the final 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Donald Trump called this Black woman a scammer.
Yeah.
He called this Black woman a cheat.
A hustler. Yeah.
And a hustler.
Yeah.
And to listen to these weak, impotent, shameful, despicable, evil Republicans like the Speaker of the House, Rusty Bowers, who testified yesterday, say that if Donald Trump got the nomination in 2024, they would still vote for him. These people literally have no integrity, no morals, no values, no principles. None of them.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't agree. I don't take a broad brush and say that none of them have any values or any integrity. I think that I cannot dismiss the testimony that we have heard from them just yesterday and the testimony that they gave in the private sessions before the public sessions, nor the great risk to their own lives, their own safety, their own career, that when there were issues for the particular people who were there, like Speaker Bowers and the Secretary of State. I believe that they do have lines. I believe that they do have morals, and I believe that because they had lines and because they had morals, we right now have a President Biden, and we don't have a banana republic. I don't agree with them pretty much on anything else, but they resemble the conservatives, the Republicans that I used to actually take great joy in having a debate with, where we could listen to each other, where we had principled positions, where we could disagree about whatever it was, whether it was choice, whether it was taxes, whether it was economy, whether it was strong federal government or weak federal government, strong states. We had all of those issues, and we could disagree vehemently about them. And they would feel that my position lacked any credence, and I would feel the same about theirs, but they were not willing to break the law in order to push their position in an election. And I was not willing to break the law to push mine in an election. And I understand that while I disagree with them in toto, and especially where former President Donald Trump is concerned, they're not interested in Donald Trump. They are interested in the gains that they make to the positions they believe are principled while pushing Donald Trump. And I think that it is necessary for us to acknowledge that and not sweep with a broad brush and call everyone who supports him for whatever reason the devil or amoral or any of those things, because frankly, that is just not the case. I certainly believe that they are wrong, but I don't believe that that is the case.
Eugene, the reason I will call them that is because if every person standing with him, they've seen that tape, Access Hollywood. They have seen how he behaved for 4 years. They have seen how he attacked black woman after black woman. They saw how he blamed black people for stealing the election. Atlanta, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Detroit. They saw and heard what this man said about these black women. They saw his actions, how he literally supported the hanging of Mike Pence. They have seen the efforts that he underwent to try to steal this election. And if with all of that, you still stand with that man, yes, I'm going to call you immoral. Yes, I'm going to say you have no principles. Yes, I'm going to say you have no values. Yes, I'm going to say you're putting party and power over patriotism, because that means that in the face of all of that, you still will support evil.
But I didn't hear Speaker Bowers say that.
Oh, no, one second. No, Eugene.
I listened to the whole testimony. I listened to all of it.
Eugene.
I didn't hear him say that.
You didn't hear him say what?
I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear him say that after everything that happened, he still would support President Donald Trump in 2024. The speaker,
yes, he did.
Bowers. I didn't hear that.
Yes, he did. He was asked the question. Well, I'm telling you what he said. He was asked the question, would you support Donald Trump in 2024? He said, if he was running against Biden, yes, I will, because of the good things he did before COVID. In fact, this is what Senator Tim Scott, a black man from South Carolina, said on Fox News.
Laying out this case, primarily aimed at former President Trump and his efforts to overturn the election. This specifically today about talking to state authorities about putting in different electors and decertifying elections in different states. Have you learned anything new, number one? Is it troubling to you, number two? And can you support Donald Trump if he runs for president in 2024?
Well, Brett, I have not taken the time to watch the hearings. I feel like the best use of my time is fighting the inflationary effects and looking for ways to push back for the American consumer. I spent my time talking about the gas prices and ways that we can reduce it. I have not watched the January 6th hearings. I was actually in the Senate when it happened, so I don't need an education on what actually happened. I do think that what we're seeing is made for TV. What you haven't seen is any cross-examination. So we're having people lay out stories without having the cross-examination. I think if President Trump is a nominee, of course we support him. The Republicans will always present a better solution to the problems that we are faced with in the marketplace today than the Democrats.
So, Eugene, go ahead. You're on mute, Eugene.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. For starters, morality and power sometimes go together, and more times than not, it doesn't, right? And so, these folk, I mean, look, this guy's the Speaker of the House of Arizona. He's not going to give up his power for a moral cause. The reason he's sitting there is because, he decided not to break the law and put himself in legal jeopardy with some of the things that people were asking him to do. In regards to Senator Scott, Senator Scott, known him for a good while, many years. But he's somebody that's made a decision to put party and power over righteous causes at this point. He's running for president, and so he's watching his words. He's making sure he doesn't piss off the Trump base. But one more time, real leadership is actually standing up for principle.
Scott, there was a Republican in South Carolina who voted to impeach Trump. He just lost the primary in South Carolina. And he made it clear. He defended his decision on that particular vote. You had a Republican representing a district outside of Buffalo. who chose not to seek re-election because when he called for gun legislation, the right went after him and he said, oh, I didn't want there to be a fracture in the party, as opposed to saying, I am going to stand on principle and run, and if I get defeated, I did the right thing. I remember when Senator Jeff Flake was in the Senate, and he goes to the floor and he gives these speeches, and all the media people, oh my God, that was a fascinating speech. No, it wasn't. Because when it came time to show conviction and principles, he chose not to seek re-election because he didn't want to face losing. Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska had a lot of stuff to say about Donald Trump until it came time for re-election. Then about a year out, he went damn near into the witness protection program, saying nothing. Scott, the point about morals and values and principles and integrity and character is that in the face of money, in the face of losing power, in the face of being ostracized, you are willing to do what is right and what is just as opposed to what is expedient. And that's why I'm calling out anybody who stands with this evil man.
Well, you need to. But I think your expectations of the human condition, at least if you're a Republican or you're Donald Trump and you still support Donald Trump, an amoral individual, take the politics out of it. But then what does that say about you, that you're going to continue to support evilness and immorality or amorality? You're just as amoral as the person that you don't support, or rather that the person you support. So all the people that support Donald Trump, they are just as amoral for supporting him than Donald Trump is. And so I think you expect too much of Republicans, and that you should lower your expectation because they're not a political party. They're not leaders, right? They're a cult, and they've been taken over by Donald Trump. So they share his principles. They share his beliefs. So you can't expect any excellence out of them, right?
Is that a question of is that a question of expectation? What it is, Scott, is when it's time to do the right thing, somebody should say that there is a higher calling. And this is the thing that jumps out at me. If this man has done all of this, well, then what do they think is too far? So when he said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my support, or maybe he said I can kill, but I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and my supporters wouldn't care. What he is doing, he is proving that. And the reason I'm laying this out this way is because for everybody watching and listening, what we now need to understand is that they will do anything to maintain power. But the fact that Speaker of the House, Rusty Bowers, I'm gonna still vote for him. Despite Bill Barr, I'm gonna vote for him.
I'll still vote for him.
Senator Tim Scott, I'm gonna still vote for him. So, folks, I need Democrats, progressives, and the media to stop wondering if there's a bottom. The moment that man trashed POW Senator John McCain, Black people knew, hashtag we tried to tell you. And so that's why I'm calling
But he didn't. But he didn't say that in his testimony. I just looked it up because I knew that I listened to the whole thing. He said that to the
what he said in his testimony.
He said it was his testimony. You said
what I'm saying is,
and I thought
he was asked,
but it was
the man was asked about it. And what I'm saying is, person after person after person after person after person, they will line up and support this man. And so, for everybody watching and listening, you need to now understand they do not care. There's
That's not true. It's just It's just, it's so obviously not true. It's so obviously not true.
They don't care.
It's so obviously not true.
They
I mean,
don't care.
you know what?
They've exchanged
Hold on, Scott. Scott, hold on. Monique, how is it obviously not true when you will still support a person after all the crap that they've done?
Because your premise is wrong. What you are saying is because they, are you going to let me answer you or no?
Oh, I'm going to let you answer, but no, it's not, but go ahead.
Okay. The premise that they lack all morals, that they lack any principle because they are willing to support this man, Donald Trump, who has said what he has said about Black women, who has done the things that he has done, that premise is wrong. If they lacked all morals, if they lacked all principles, the testimony that we heard from them, we would not be hearing. They would be amongst the ones who are currently under subpoena because they were, you can disregard me, you're being disrespectful. What I am saying is, okay, what I am saying, one moment, I am mid-sentence, I promise you, and I'm gonna hold it. And while I say, the reason why we have such striated debates and there is no middle ground is because we would prefer to dismiss the tens of millions of people who voted for Trump as if they're all Trumpkins, they're all maggots, they're all deplorables, they're all whatever.
They're all immoral, just like
put half of the voting populace over there in amoral. They serve Jesus just like I do. This man grieved the loss of a daughter. He grieved so he don't love his kids. His daughter was in there dying while they were picketing outside. I guess we're not supposed to care because the only thing we care about is us, right? So we're going to be that which we detest. We want people to care so much about the way that Trump hates us that they're willing to step away from every other principle, whether it's freedom of choice, whether it is, whatever they believe about Roe v. Wade. We want them to step away from their closely held principles that they have had since they were teens because he does what he does where Black people are concerned, because he himself is amoral, because he is all of these things, but we don't recognize their humanity at all.
But they
say that they completely lack, hold on, we say that they lack morals entirely. And when I say we, I mean you, because what I say about Trump is what I say about Trump. But what I say about every person who supports him is different. I know that every person that voted for Trump is not those maggots that are out there at those protest marches. I know that they're not all the same. I know them. I've broken bread with some of them. I've known some of them for my entire life. I've known some of them in business, and they have sat down and taken the time, because I'm not going to start off by saying they're the devil. They've taken the time to explain what I believe are very wrong reasons for what they're doing. But when you look at those Supreme Court nominees, when you look at people who believe that abortion is murder, and the fact that they are getting something that they have fought for decades, again, something I am against. When you look at people who believe in strong government, localized state government and not federal government, I am saying that these are people. I'm not missing a damn thing, Scott. Don't tell me I'm missing something because you disagree with me. Don't. Okay, well, I'm not giving you justifications. I am saying you lack the ability to meet and agree.
Monique, you repeated yourself.
I was using completely new words. It was new words.
No, those people that you described as not all being bad simply because they support Trump, they walked away from all those other important issues that you've broken bread with them about. But at their core, if you support Donald Trump and his amorality, at your core, you support some commonality of that amorality. You support that because in the end, you voted for Donald Trump for maybe all kinds of different reasons and the wrong basis, but at your core, your value system is jacked up because it's a journey to navigate around the amorality of Donald Trump And at your core, that's what you support.
Let me ask you then. If we found out Biden had committed a crime, I have a question.
Let me finish.
I have a question for Scott.
You can say what you want, but there's something wrong with half of America.
Scott, hold up, Scott, hold on. Monique, you can't tell Scott not to interrupt you. You interrupt him. So hold on. I'm going to Scott. He's going to finish his point. I'm going to Eugene. I'm coming back to you, Scott.
I made my point. I think half of America who supported Donald Trump has that amoral gene or that core, and they walked away from what they know to be righteous and true in exchange for power, right? So that's my only point. I'm not making you wrong. What I'm saying is there's more to it, and I'm being generous when I say that. But let me tell you something. Donald Trump is a problem, but he represents what's wrong with half of America that supports his bullshit.
Agreed.
Eugene.
So I will say this. I think both Scott and Monique make some pretty salient points. For what it's worth, Republicans and conservatives look at Democrats the exact same way as being, immoral, amoral, out for power for XYZ reasons, right? 2016 was a A/B choice, and there were a lot of folk that found Hillary Clinton to be more amoral than Donald Trump in that present moment. But I can also say that I do know some Trump supporters that are good people at their core. They're just diehard partisans, and they're going to, and as I said earlier, morality and power many times just don't go together.
They never have, and they never will.
Well, and again, the point that so here's one of the things that.
It was about to be my turn.
It's one of the things. Well, first of all, I'm still going to talk. So you're going to talk, but you're going to talk after me.
Exactly.
The reason I'm looking at this is because I think about Jim Crow, and I think about how folks said, "Oh no, so and so is a nice person," but if you were supporting Jim Crow legislation, if you're supporting that way of life, no, they're not racist. They're still good people. But if you're going along with a system that is depriving folks of rights, whether you are waving a flag or not, you literally are supporting it. And what I am saying is that when you have morals and conviction and principles, you are willing to sacrifice something because you say, I'm sorry, that simply isn't right. And what I'm saying is that for the Republican who believes in the tax cuts, for the Republican who believes in, I'm a strong defense, you would think at something has to reach a point where you say, that's a bridge too far. And when you look at this person's actions cumulatively, not just the tape, not just the tweeting, you can be what this man did on January 6th. And here's how they can answer this. Will you support Donald Trump? A person with conviction would say, I'm a Republican. I will remain a Republican. But I will never stand behind that man. I will write a Republican's name in. But a person with conviction and principles and morals and values would say that man can never come near the Oval Office, and I will fight like tooth and nail to keep him from getting the nomination. Rusty Bowers didn't say that. Bill Barr didn't say that. Tim Scott didn't say that. And that's what I mean when you are unwilling to have principles and morals and values.
Roland, the thing is this.
Monique,
right?
hold up. Hold up. Monique, I got this. Monique, I'm the host. I got this. I'm be reminded of the flow. Monique, I got this. Monique, Scott, Eugene, go. 60 seconds each.
Thank you.
You on the clock.
All right. So
she can't make that.
I think that everything that you said, if we flip it in reverse, people would not be able to say on our sides of these issues. So my quick example is this, and I'll use myself. I could find out today or a month before the next general election, and it's Biden coming to win another term against Donald Trump trying to regain his position. And I could find out that Biden had murdered small children when he was young. I may find out that he had embezzled millions of dollars. I may find out that he eats body parts in his spare time. I don't know what it is that I could find out about him that would cause me to choose Donald Trump. And it would not mean that I'm immoral. Okay, no, because when we have an election, I'm being clear on my point and only my point. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just making a point. When we have an election with two people, I'm not writing in because I know writing in is eliminating. I am then deciding in favor of the other person. I am not adequately utilizing my vote for it to count. I would be so sure that Trump would be devastating for this country and for the direction that I want this country to go, for my children, for my grandchildren, for my community, for the world, that I would pretty much put in known axe murderer, but relatively benign President Biden before I would let this country cede to Trump again. And I dare say
that there
are people on the opposite side of the aisle who feel the same way.
You way beyond 60 seconds. You went a minute 45. Again, but learn to keep it under 60 seconds. Scott, that's right. Your comment, 60 seconds.
I understand Monique's analysis, but it's flawed in this sense. You're still voting for the least evil of the two under your scenario. If you have morality, if you are going to be faithful to your heart and your mind, then you write in the name of Frederick Douglass or Martin Luther King Jr. You're exercising your right to vote. You certainly aren't exercising your right to vote for two very bad candidates, given the two choices. And you're still exercising your vote for someone who may not be able to win, but consciously and faithfully you believe in their leadership, their excellence, and what this country should be. And so I would write in the name of Frederick Douglass under that scenario.
Scott.
That's exercising my right to vote.
If you don't want nobody to interrupt you, don't interrupt them.
But if you want to get it on,
Eugene,
I'm coming.
Roland, look, you got two lawyers. So you can't
Eugene, go ahead.
60
interrupting me all the time. I don't do that to you.
2 points real quick. I think Scott's point is preposterous. When he was DC party chair, he would have never accepted somebody voting for somebody that wasn't an actual competitive election. The second point is this. Look, we're in the era of gang, and it's get down and down. And so, nobody's going to unilaterally disarm themselves. So until we move to a system where we have a true multi-party system, you're still going to have A/B choices, and which is going to be essentially lesser evils.
All right. So first of all, good job. 35 seconds. Let me say this before I go to the break, and this is very simple. And that is this. We're not talking about, Monica, your hypothetical, somebody who did something 30, 40, 50 years ago. We're not talking about somebody who did something 20 years ago. We're talking about somebody who did something a year ago. We're talking about somebody who what they tried to do, had they been successful, would have completely obliterated this democracy. And what I am saying is that there are some things that rise to that level. And yes, a person of integrity would say, I simply cannot support that. A person with integrity would say, I will do everything I can to make sure that person does not get my party's nomination.
That's right.
And you know what? It might mean, yes, like some never Trumpers, like the Sherry Jacobuses of the world and others who have not gotten contracts, who have not gotten hired, who have lost things. But I do believe that there is something that is bigger than a party. And there is something that is bigger than your one or two issues. And the bottom line is this here. Donald Trump, if he is not held responsible and accountable, and all those around him, if you do not see indictments, if you don't see any of that, I can guarantee you they would have now been given license to go further than they did. Because if a person showed you that, that means they will take this thing all the way. And I say to any and every Republican, and yes, if you stand with Donald Trump, hell yes, I'm going to call your ass out, and I don't want to hear that bullshit about the tax cuts and all the rest of that stuff, because you are supporting a grossly immoral and evil man. Got to go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk about the federal indictment of Andrew Gillum, with 30,000 votes shy of becoming governor of Florida. We'll also talk about a case out of Florida where a black man was attacked by two white men, and those two got arrested. We'll talk with his family. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network, broadcasting from Atlanta. Back in a moment.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal.
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
On the next A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things mental health and how helping others can help you. We all have moments where we have struggles, and on this week's show, our guests demonstrate how helping others can also help you. Why you should never stop giving and serving others on a next A Balanced Life here on Black Star Network.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa.
Coach, that's a Buick.
That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built in.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Kim Burrell.
Hi, I'm Carl Payne.
Hey, everybody, this is Sherry Shepherd. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks. Former Democratic gubernatorial nominee in Florida, Andrew Gillum, has been hit with 21-count indictment in Florida on charges of wire fraud and lying to FBI authorities. Gillum, as well as his longtime associate Janet Letman Hicks, also faced 21 charges, including conspiracy, wire fraud, and making false statements. Now, U.S. attorney claimed the pair diverted monies received from 2016 to 2018 to a company owned by Letman Hicks before funneling it to Gillum for personal use. This is a statement Gillum put out before charges were made public. I've spent the last 20 years of my life in public service and continue to fight for the people. Every campaign I've run has been done with integrity. Make no mistake, if this case is not legal, it is political. Throughout my career, I've always stood up for the people of Florida and I've spoken truth to power. There's been a target on my back ever since I was the mayor of Tallahassee. Now, the thing that's interesting here is that some of the charges relate to, again, not feeling him getting dinner paid for, tickets to a Hamilton Broadway play in New York. But Scott, his was interesting. He was fined by the Ethics Commission, paid the $5,000 fine, and continued. So when you look at this, I've already talked to several lawyers who frankly call this flimsy and saying you're going after somebody when literally he paid the fine, and in terms of this whole idea that he did not report these gifts.
Yeah, but you got to understand the bifurcation between the Federal Election Commission, which is civil and regulatory. He paid a fine. We don't know what statements he made to the FEC or what his co-defendant made to the FEC. That's one thing. And then secondly, for the government to go after you, DOJ, which just feels like a kickback scheme, right? Whether he was working or he was receiving some remuneration, he can't be both the candidate as well as the campaign manager. They had a pattern and practice of doing this. It took them years, several months, in order to put this case together. And a 21-count indictment means they feel pretty strongly that this wasn't an accident, that they had the mens rea, and they had criminal intent in regard to compensating him. And so they'll have a lot to prove, and I'm sure they'll have a defense, but criminal prosecution is a lot different than the FEC.
But Monique, how is it a kickback when it's your company?
Right. Well, I mean, we saw a similar thing happen where a 45-count indictment of a state senator in Tennessee turned ultimately into a 5-count indictment and then a 2-count conviction. It started out at $110,000, wire fraud included in 4 of the charges. It ended up in $3,500 of her own money, and she ultimately was sentenced with no jail time. That's State Senator Katrina Robinson. And what I said yesterday when I found out about this was they do wire fraud when they don't think anything else is going to stick. But maybe Gillum is right that when it's not legal, it's political. Maybe it is legal and political. As Scott is saying, they don't charge where they don't think that they can get it done. But either way, my bottom line is that this is so just severely and significantly unfortunate for someone with as bright a light, as much talent, as much brilliance as him to have these back-to-back challenges, and this one seemingly more serious than the one before. But they must have a reason that they think it's important to continue to go after him.
Well, they just don't like
hold on, Scott. Eugene, it has been a downfall, if you will, for Andrew Gillum. As I said, 30,000 votes short. Then, of course, you had him being found passed out in a hotel with a male escort. He talked about his going into depression after losing that race. He came out as publicly as bisexual, and now you have this. And so, I mean, it has been a very, very rough 3 years for Andrew Gillum.
Yeah. So just what I've read since the news is broken. I think she's probably in more jeopardy than he is. Of course, as a candidate, everything falls on him, and as this looks to date back to his time as when he was still mayor. The investigation, but when the FBI has essentially her not just on tape, but then accepting contributions from 2 of their agents and informants, with the understanding that there would be a kickback for them once elected, which is a big no-no. I make it clear to any donors we engage, hey, there's no promises, there's no nothing, but when you're making those type of promises to donors, and those quote unquote donors are technically FBI agents or FBI informants, and then you divert that money from going directly to your campaign account to your personal account. It's a couple. I mean, it's a lot there, but I do think that she's probably in much more jeopardy than he is.
All right, folks. Some breaking news out. Scott, go ahead real quick.
But he's the big fish. Without him, they probably wouldn't even brought the issue against her.
Yeah. I mean, they have the trouble.
And this started under a Trump DOJ. This started when his star was still rising. This started when they wanted to stop him.
Right, and this is what they do, whether it's him or Marilyn Mosby.
And of course, you're representing Marilyn Mosby in her federal trial as well. Folks, some breaking news out of Uvalde, where the school district, they have put the police chief, Pete Arredondo, on administrative leave. He also, last night, first of all, the leave was effective immediately. And last night, the city council, he was elected to the city council, they voted not to allow him to be able to excuse from meetings and be on sabbatical there as well. And so Arredondo, of course, was the one who was the on-scene commander who made so many fatal mistakes, keeping the cops from going inside of the school where the 19 children were killed, as well as 2 teachers. And so we will continue to follow this story as well. Going to a break, we come back. Talking the case out of Florida that got lots of attention when it went viral. And also we'll hear from the president of Lane College about what he is doing to rebuild, restore, and move from surviving to thriving, that HBCU in Tennessee. Those of you who want to support us in what we do, please, let's download the Black Start Network app. Available on all platforms: Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. You can also support us in what you do with your resources. It allows us to be able to travel the country. Of course, I'm here in Atlanta. We're going to be in New Orleans all next week for Essence Festival. We've got, of course, we're covering Jay-Z, Rock Nation's conference in New York next month as well. Cincinnati Music Festival, covering those events. And so check and money order can go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Hold fast to dreams. For if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams. For when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built in.
On a Next, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things mental health and how helping others can help you. We all have moments where we have struggles, and on this week's show, our guests demonstrate how helping others can also help you. Why you should never stop giving and serving others on a Next, A Balanced Life here on Black Star Network.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
This is Diala Riddle, and you're watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered. Stay woke.
This is Director X, the director of Superfly on the red carpet, or the black carpet, and you're watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Chaley Rose, and you're watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
I'm Lex Scott Davis, and you are watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jacob Lattimore, and you're now watching Roland Martin right now.
All right, folks, as always, Florida, a video went viral last week. 2 black women were hosting a birthday party in a Florida park when a white man decided to just completely act a fool. Watch this.
Ma'am, you need to give my child
You need to
space.
get out of my space
I will break
right
your
now.
jaw in the fucking
I
head.
dare you. Get the camera out. Get the camera out. It's recording. Thank
that's
you.
great.
You're recorded.
That's
And this
great.
is going to be aired. And
So
we'll see
stay
if you
away
have a
from-
job tomorrow.
That's great. Stay
We'll
with
see
my
if you have a
child.
job tomorrow.
Yes,
Nobody's
I will
even
have a
on your
job.
child. We'll see. This is going to get aired.
That's great.
You do not come in a woman's face and threaten to break her jaw. You do not threaten to break my jaw.
Listen, if
You
my
do
child
not
gets hurt-
threaten to break my jaw. Get out of her face. Do you understand? Because I have my mace. And it can go really, really bad. Let's call the police right now because you threatened me on camera.
Yes.
Yes, you did. Call the police.
If my child gets hurt,
Let's call the police.
I am not going to go directly
Let's call
to
the
you.
police.
What are you doing?
Call them right now because you're not going to threaten me.
Let's go. Come on.
Siri, call my love. Call me.
Folks, who you saw there was the man is Carl Pulkin. You have Farah Bathal as well as Sonia Talusnord. They were there, of course. That man, he was not arrested. The two of them join us right now. So glad to have y'all here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. He was talking about his son getting hurt. What was happening? What was he talking about? What was going on in the park?
Right. So we were there for a birthday party, and we got there immediately, and we looked for benches to put everything down. And as we were putting everything down, the kids are in our view. We tell the kids to go ahead and go play. They immediately run to the slide. Not even 30 to 60 seconds later, they come back to us and tell us, hey, Mom, this man is being really mean to us. He's asking us, how old are we? How tall are you? This is to my son. How much do you weigh? And my son didn't answer, and he was like, well, you need to learn physics. So we went to go figure out what's going on. And so we go over there just to watch the kids play, and we're thinking a big kid is intimidating them. Come to find out, it's a grown man intimidating my kids. And we just sit there quietly and watch the kids play. Then he comes over and says, hey, how's it going? And we're like, fine, is everything okay? And then he says, we'll see. So then the kids continue to play. Then he starts shouting and telling us, hey, you need to tell your kid to watch what he's doing. He almost hit a toddler coming down the slide. Now, just for a little bit of context, there was a toddler in an area designated for kids aged 5 to 12. And the toddler shouldn't have been there. And there was no safety issue. My son was coming down the slide, saw the toddler left, and he came down. He kept saying he's trying to stop something before it happened. We then had told him, please address us and not our children.
So one second. So was the toddler his?
No, the toddler was not his. No. The toddler.
Okay. So the toddler wasn't his. Were the parents of the toddler around there?
Yes.
Yes. And that's why I said she came to me.
They weren't yelling the cussing?
No.
So basically he decided to be rent-a-cop for the whole playground.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. He decided to be safety patrol Carl for the whole playground. So he comes over to my sister's face this close. She could have headbutted her, and says, we say, give us 6 feet. And he comes to her and says, I don't need to give you 6 feet. And my 12-year-old daughter immediately grabs my phone instinctively and starts recording and catches him on video saying, I will break your jaw in an effing heartbeat. Calling us classless, trash, animals, transvestites, anything you can imagine. Then says racial terms like everyone's your cousin, and just really demeaning us for no reason.
So cops call, they come out, and what if he doesn't get arrested? What if they say?
So at first, they wanted witnesses, and we told them that we had a video camera, and we showed them exactly what happened. And they advised us that due to a law in Florida, they are unable to arrest him, and that they were going to send everything over to the state attorney's office, and then they were going to have to sign off on, arrest or not. And another thing I wanted to mention is that the park's footage validates and confirms our accounts of what happened with him being the aggressor and him approaching us for no reason and threatening bodily harm against us.
So apparently something else happened with somebody else, and this guy was arrested?
Yep. So I posted this video because I was so mad that he wasn't even arrested because of this Florida law called misdemeanor exception. We were advised by the police officers that if they don't physically see it, they can't arrest him. They have to send it to the state prosecutors. So I posted my encounter on Facebook, and a family reached out to me and said, hey, we've been trying to identify this person who chokeslammed our 15-year-old family member at a movie theater. And when the cops came, he fled, so they couldn't find out who he was. So because of my post, I was able to help a family identify who this person was.
Wow. And so as a result of that, he was arrested and charged with battery last Friday. And his ex-wife was the one who called.
Yes, his ex-wife is the one who called because she was concerned of the children. The children were in his possession at the time, I believe. And his ex-wife is the one who called.
Well, we certainly are glad that nothing physically happened to the both of you or your children, but certainly by exposing him, that was important. And I keep saying, when he said, I'm not going to lose my job, well, guess what? You now arrested, and now your name is known nationally for being an aggressive bully. And again, putting your hands on somebody, yeah, you can get jail time for that. And so we certainly will see what happens in this case. Any future action y'all plan on taking against him, or you're simply waiting for the state's attorney to make their decision?
So we do know that there is a warrant out for his arrest. So we are just awaiting for him to be arrested.
A warrant out for his arrest in your case?
Correct.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So we're just see that, justice is going to be served, or the start of justice will be served. And yes, we will be pursuing further action because, he threatened us, dehumanized us, he sexualized us as well in front of children. And it just wasn't okay. And he needs to be held accountable for his actions.
All right, then. Well, I certainly appreciate both of you joining us here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, and certainly let us know what happens next in this case.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Eugene, this is the thing, man, that we keep talking about. I mean, damn, black folks can't even go to the damn park and not be accosted.
It's crazy. It's a wild world. But listen, if he wants to be a tough guy, let him go to jail with the tough guys and let him duke it out with the tough guys in jail. You want to slam kids? All right, let's send them down to the county and see if you want to slam anybody. You want to accost women? All right, cool. Send them down to the county, see if you want to go in and accost some folk. You want to be a tough guy? Let's go put you with some real tough guys and see how you act.
And Scott, when you look at, these stories, when you look at what happens, keep in mind you had the white guy in Florida who shot and killed Lucy McBath's son, Jordan Davis, over, oh, your music is too loud, then lied and said they pointed a gun at him. That was never the case. Now he's sitting his behind in prison for a long time. So it's like, okay, if that's what unfortunately, in that case, Davis was shot and killed. But people like this, they've got to be held accountable for literally threatening the lives of black people.
Yeah, and they all seem to fit a pattern or practice. They all kind of look similar. They all have these attitudes and hot tempers. But I think they're cowards more than anything because they want to attack those who are the least, the lost, or the left out, or African American, or women, or young kids. There's someone that they can pick on, if you will, at least perception-wise. And you're absolutely right. There are a lot of them out here, and it's based on race, even though it gets complicated because if you're just an asshole, then you can be any color. But no, you couple racism with asininity, and then you have them taking advantage of people who are trying to. But I will tell you this, those two sisters, they wouldn't give it up no ground whatsoever. She'd tell them, I got some mace, and it'll go wrong real fast and stuff. But just really weird. And you're like, where does this come from? I mean, why are you jumping on people and arguing with people? You got nothing better to do. And again, they're at the park, enjoying themselves, and now white privilege and white asininity begins to invade their space. Just really unfortunate. But Black people, you got to be on the lookout for it because it's all around us.
I keep saying, Monique, there is this entitlement, this idea that we have to step back and get out of the way. I think back to the movie Rising Sun, when the guy, they're waiting at a valet, and he tells Wesley Snipes to fetch the car, and Wesley says, "Wrong fucking man, wrong fucking century."
Yes, and kudos to Scott on asininity. Scott's coming with the big words tonight. I'm impressed. Asininity. He said it twice. Listen, yeah, but I mean, I would pray that a jury would pay attention, right? Maybe better than my colleagues tonight, because we can't conclude that the only reason this man attacked those women is because he's a racist, or that the only reason he attacked them is because they're Black and he's white and it's privilege. It's obvious based on the video that got him arrested that he, with a toddler in his hands, will use his hand and attack a young white male teen and push him to the ground in a violent assault. And that didn't have anything to do with white privilege. That didn't have anything to do with racism. That had to do with whatever manner of rage out of control, whatever other issues he has that are leading him to take criminal actions against others. That doesn't mean that he isn't a racist, because I heard what they said about the way, or a sexist for that matter, because of the manner of things that he said. But it's clear to me that this man has a rage problem, an anger problem, a dangerous criminality generally.
He can have more than
and I
one.
think that is, and that's why I said it's all of those things, but I said it's not one thing with this person.
Also, let me stay in Florida, where Florida cop is on investigation for punching a Black man in a Walgreens and voila, lying about it. Now, Artie Edwards was upset with a Walgreens employee who would not accept his $20 bill. This officer, Kyle Culver, arrived and asked Edwards to leave the store. After a short argument, Culver punched and arrested Edwards for obstructing an officer without violence and trespassing after warning. In his arrest report, Culver alleged Edwards clenched his fists, but as you saw, the body cam proves Edwards did nothing to provoke the punch. It's not clear if Culver is still on active duty. I keep saying, y'all, they lie on that police report, and that video contradicts that lie, automatic firing. Now, I know, Monique, you disagree every time I say that, but they has got to go.
Right. No, I'm
going to lie on the report.
Yeah, I disagree.
You're going to lie on something else.
Right. Well, I mean, that is supposed to be when you lie on a government document in that manner, that is supposed to be an immediate administrative leave that leads to the process of discharge. You have due process rights as a government employee, so it's not an immediate firing, but the process does start for that. But what I was thinking about this was that could have been easily another George Floyd incident. I'm thankful that that man is still alive. I mean, the circumstances are so similar with the question about the presenting of the U.S. tender, the not receiving it. I'm guessing the clerk probably thought that it was counterfeit. It doesn't mean that it was. It just means that it wasn't received. And then here come the police about something where really the police do not necessarily need to be called. I don't know what led to them being involved in that, whether the clerk called them or whether it was because the man was upset about it. But either way, that could have been even more devastating than it was. I'm thankful that everybody's still alive.
Roll cop, Scott. Roll cop.
Yeah,
they do
maybe.
They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, you're right, maybe. But I think Monique misses the point here again tonight. Look at the video. Even if you call the police because you have an upset customer and the employee of the company of the store calls them, there is no de-escalation here. He's aggressive. He walks up on him. This citizen, this young man, was arguing with the police and said, "Don't put your hands on me," and he's upset. Why not ask him to step outside? Why not say, "Hey, let's talk about it"? But no de-escalation is in place there. He walks up on him. He's trying to put his hands on him, and then he punches him and takes him down. It doesn't even look like the cop even knows all that's going on, other than you have an irate citizen. Well, it's not illegal to be an irate citizen, but now you create a circumstance where you're going to charge him with a minor misdemeanor for disobeying a police order or whatever the charge was. The police drove that narrative, that negative narrative. They drove the arrest, and that's illegal in and of itself, inappropriate and unlawful, if you will, because it could have been handled completely differently. And Monique is right about one thing. We're lucky that this kid is alive. We're lucky because it could have gone south, again, driven by the police negative narrative.
Yeah. Eugene?
Look, I'm going to make it very clear. If an officer lies on a report, which is an official document, it should be held in the same regard as perjury. If I lie in a report, an affidavit, it's perjury. They lie in a report, it needs to be perjury, and it should be automatic. I agree. You know, I'm not a supporter of Leo Bore. I think Leo Bore should be wiped out across the country. But, you know, hey, firing and then full perjury charge, get them about the way. You know, because they have the power to ruin people's lives by lying.
Hey, by the way, Roland, if that same gentleman was white, the approach would have been completely different. Completely different.
No. Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
No. Say it ain't so, hey, Scott. Say it ain't so.
Let's talk about it, buddy. Let's talk about it.
All right, now we're gonna talk about this break.
Bad day.
We're gonna talk about this break. We come back. We got Black and Missing. We'll also talk about a couple of other stories here that I want to get to, including the Dante Wright settlement. And of course, we'll also hear from the president of Lane College in my HBCU Connect segment. Folks, Roland Martin Unfiltered, broadcasting live from Atlanta. I'm here for an event for the folks at Acura. Y'all know I'm trying to sign them as a sponsor. Y'all know I ain't here just to be here. You're watching the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. To show the love.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. A very different take on Juneteenth with the one and only Dr. Sunyata Ahmed. We'll explore the amazing foods, remedies, and rituals that are a part of our history and the Juneteenth holiday.
So it's our responsibility to return the healthier version to our folks instead of just the red liqueurs marketed to us, the red sodas and the other things. I mean, why does the Kool-Aid man have to sound like Louis Armstrong? He's like, oh yeah!
Yeah, right. An enlightening and tasty hour of the Black Table, only on the Black Star Network.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built-in.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and it's time to get wealthy. This economy is going topsy-turvy. What does this mean for recent graduates from college?
We're talking with Leilani Brown, author of From Campus to Career.
One of the first things that a graduate can do that serves them well is learning how to tell their story.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
On our next A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things mental health and how helping others can help you. We all have moments where we have struggles, and on this week's show, Our guests demonstrate how helping others can also help you. Why you should never stop giving and serving others on a Next, A Balanced Life here on Black Star Network.
Carl Payne pretended to be Roland Martin. Holla!
You are watching Roland Martin, and I'm on his show today. And it's, what, huh? You should have some cue cards.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jacob Lattimore, and you're now watching Roland Martin right now.
Ali Noble has been missing from East St. Louis, Illinois since June 11th. The 15-year-old is 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighs 140 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Ali should please call the Cahokia Heights, Illinois Police Department. 618-337-9505, 618-337-9505. All right, y'all, Tuesday night, there were elections across the country. In Georgia here, Charlie Bailey beat former Atlanta Councilman Kwanzaa Hall for the Democratic nomination for lieutenant governor. Also, punk-ass Vernon Jones, that trifling Donald Trump ass-kissing Republican, he lost, got blown out. Vernon, don't show your face nowhere in Georgia. That's that fool right there. Y'all remember he showed his ass at that debate where he was mad because he didn't get to speak first? And he basically cussed out them folks. That's why he lost 75-25. And so, matter of fact, I posted a comment about him losing. I said on my Instagram page in his campaign, Eugene, you know I had to say this here, Eugene. I said that the campaign party for Vernon Jones last night was a repast.
Oh yeah.
I don't care.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. Vernon. Matter of fact, I think Eugene. I think that there are more. I think there are more comments on my Instagram post than Vernon got votes.
You might have a point. Look. Finally, his career is dead. You know. Maybe C.J. Pearson to find better hobbies at this point. I forgot. Lil C.J. was his campaign manager. But also, it's a big loss for Trump as well. A huge loss for Trump. They thought they were doing something, getting him up the governor's race, having him run for this congressional seat. You give him Trump endorsement. And then, get him to the runoff, and then, he gets blown out like this. That's a big L on Trump.
Indeed. And let's in Alabama, y'all know this person, Black. Yolanda Rochelle Flowers won the Democratic nomination for governor in Alabama, making her the first Black person to be nominated by a major party for the governor's seat. I'm sorry, excuse me. No. The first African-American woman, because y'all might remember that sorry-ass Arthur Davis ran for governor and got blown out as well. Y'all know, matter of fact, him and Vernon Jones need to hook up. That's how trifling Arthur Davis is. And so Flowers is going to face incumbent Governor Republican Kay Ivey. This will be the first time in Alabama history that two women will fight for the governor's seat. And so that's a good thing there, Monique, this sister here. Look, Alabama, deep red state, but the bottom line is, hey, you can't win if you don't run.
That's right. And we certainly wish the best for that race, but it's monumental and very important that she would even get the nomination. And so these, in the midst of some dark days, we are seeing very bright lights like this.
Also, in D.C., incumbent Mayor Muriel Bowser, she won a Democratic nomination. If she wins in November, it's going to be her third term as mayor. Red Grant, a comedian, Red is actually running as an independent. And so I dropped by his party last night just to say hey to him. And he said that, look, Bowser was a candidate they want, say he's going to beat him. Well, we'll see. Look forward to having both of them on the show.
You gotta host that. You gotta host the debate.
I'll be more than happy to host a debate between Mayor Bowser and Red Grant. Not a problem. Let's see if we can make it happen. Folks, Brooklyn City, Minnesota, they're going to pay the family of Dante Wright $3.25 million for his death. Remember, it was former police officer Kim Potts who killed Dante Wright during a traffic stop. As part of the settlement, the city agreed to change traffic stop policies and implement more training on implicit bias, weapons confusion, and mental health. Also, a permanent memorial will be built where Wright died. The family released a statement regarding the settlement and charges. Nothing can explain or fill the emptiness in our lives without Dante or our continued grief at the senseless way he died. But in his name, we will move forward. It was important to us that his loss be used for positive change in the community, not just for financial settlement for our family. We hope Black families, people of color, and all residents feel safer now in Brooklyn Center. Real quick here, Monique. One of the things that jumps out at me, I look at this case, I look at Breonna Taylor in Louisville. What we're seeing by these lawyers representing these families is not just financial settlements. They are looking for policy changes along with these settlements.
Well, yes, it's the same lawyers representing those families, and they have really bright people who are helping them come up with equitable remedies. And that's what matters, because as I've been saying since a million years ago, when we were in Ferguson, one settlement affects one family and it taxes a city because that's how the settlement gets paid. But when there are equitable remedies at work in the settlement, when you are requiring change to be included, legislative change, policy changes, new provisions that protect the community, then that is doing the work of social engineering. And that's what Thurgood Marshall always preached about us doing, and that is what we're seeing, because they could have settled this case a long time ago. They could have settled the Floyd case well before it was settled. Many of those cases, if they hadn't leaned in to insist upon change, then it would have taken much longer to get to it.
Eugene and Scott also speak to that issue. Eugene first. Again, using these settlements as a way to change public policy.
I mean, look, it's consent decree by a different means, and so legislatures move slow, city councils move slow, settlements can move very, very fast, as the two actual lawyers here, probably can tell you better than I could. And it's a way to force their hands, when they're already on the ropes. But, I just wish a lot of these cities and police departments understand that, hey, it's literally cheaper just to respect somebody's rights.
Scott?
But I'm a little concerned.
You're on mute, Scott.
No, I'm not.
Okay, keep talking.
Okay, I'm a little concerned.
Scott, now you turn yourself off.
No, I didn't. Can you see me and hear me now?
Yeah, come on with that cricket Wi-Fi.
I'm a little concerned that the governments are using these settlements to force early settlements as well as smaller settlements. I think the $3 million is a little light in regard to settlement. I don't know all the terms and all the discussions that took place, but if a family really needs the money and that could change their life, $3 million may be a lot for some families. But maybe perhaps if they waited, they would have gotten more. I don't know. I just think the $3 million is kind of light. And in some of these jurisdictions, governments are tight on the money because they know the families and the lawyers may give in sooner versus waiting them out.
All right. Let me thank all three of y'all for being on today's show. Thank you so very much, Eugene, Monique, and Scott. That's it for us. Here, I'm going to go to a break. We come back. We're going to hear from the president of Lane College, laying out his vision for the university, and also how what he hears on this show impacts his decision making. YouTube, while y'all tripping, we should be at 1,000 likes by now. Hell, that first 50-minute conversation was so fire. Y'all should have been lighting likes up. So I'm going to go to a break. When I come back, I should be seeing 1,000 likes. This ain't that hard. So hit the like button, y'all. Facebook, same thing. Like button, share button as well. Again, when we come back, we'll hear from the president in our, of Lane College as we come back right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network, broadcasting from Atlanta. Back in a moment.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years.
We got iPhone 13s too. Switched 2 minutes ago, literally right before this.
iPhone 13 on us on any unlimited plan for every customer, with plans starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built in.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
On a Next A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking all things mental health and how helping others can help you. We all have moments where we have struggles, and on this week's show, our guests demonstrate how helping others can also help you. Why you should never stop giving and serving others on a Next A Balanced Life here on Black Star Network.
Hey, yo, Peace World, what's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon.
Hey, I'm Cupid, the maker of the Cupid Shuffle and the Wham Dance.
What's going on? This is Tobias Trevelyan. And if you're ready, you are listening to and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. I was in Atlanta last week for the UNCF Unite 2022 Summit for Black Higher Education. Had an opportunity to speak to a number of HBCU presidents, and one of them, Lane College, where I gave the commencement speech and got an honorary degree there as well. We had a great conversation with the president. He watches this show, and I was very surprised to hear him talk about, again, listening to this show and how it challenges him to do more at the university. So we want to play that conversation. And so when this is over, folks, we're going to simply go straight out because I've got to go to this meet and greet with Trombone Shorty, trying to get him on the show as well. So I'm doing double duty here for this event here in Akron. So we're going to play that conversation. So I'm going to give y'all an early goodbye. Don't sign off. Watch this conversation. It's a really powerful conversation. But I will see y'all tomorrow from Atlanta as well. So here's my discussion with the president of Lane College. Holla!
It's been some time since I've been on Lane's campus after being one of the commencement speaker there. Had a good time there. Now when I was there, this was
spring of 2014,
and it was
April.
Shortly after, y'all had really been devastated by the parent loan when the Obama administration made that shift. I remember having that conversation and the loss of enrollment and how that impacted. So then, of course, COVID hits. And so where are you now in terms of your student body? Did you recover? Did you go back down? Are you going back up? Where are you now in terms of your student body?
Well, at present, we are down. Initially we lost about 25%. Then we lost about 20%.
So that was the 25 was for the Parent Plus.
So
situation.
the Parent Plus loan, now that would have been about a quarter of students at that time.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I remember I remember talking to folks and they were like, man, that hurt us, because I was hitting the Obama administration hard for that, because the timing of that was like right before that fall semester and schools were scrambling.
Yeah, no, it was a particularly hard hit for our institution and for our parents. And as you well know, we've got hardworking parents that have worked to send their students to college, and often, they started out with children as young parents, and then about the time that their child was ready to go to college, that child was no longer eligible for Pell Grants and some of the other need-based aid, SEOG grants, even work study. They had accumulated a home, they had a couple promotions in their jobs, and so they were no longer eligible for need-based aid. These were also families that the income level of a family did not allow for them to set aside funds for their kids as they were growing up and preparing to go to college. And so the time that the student was ready to go to college and ready for an investment, the expected family contribution was significant, which the parents were not liquid for those funds. They weren't liquid for $15,000, $20,000 additional dollars for each student that they have in school. So the Parent Plus loan and student loans is one of the ways that students and families are able to afford to send their students to higher education. And so that was a particularly difficult hit for our institution, for our parents. And it was, at the time, it was a bit of a blind side. So.
And again, as I'm often trying to explain to people, when you talk about losing a quarter of your students, you're losing a quarter of your revenue that comes with those students.
Well, now listen, so I don't mean to be preachy, but we are a tuition-driven institution.
Right.
As a business.
And when we say tuition-driven, people who are watching, we're talking about, what, 90%? You were talking about.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you lose tuition, you're literally losing the ability to run your university.
Absolutely. We're in the business of education. So our education is what we do. It's what we deliver. It's our promise to the state of Tennessee, to the United States of America, to the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, that we're going to educate these students, develop the whole student. We're in that business. But we are also a business. We are a small business, and we're a small business that's selling education. And we must get students enrolled and must get their financial aid to follow them to be able to afford to operate. I am quick to say that we operate an institution on Pell Grants and student loans. In any given year, Lane College will have the highest percent of Pell eligible students of any institution in the state of Tennessee.
Wow.
Period.
And that means, so we're talking about you're serving low-income students.
80 to 90% of our students will be Pell eligible. 99% of our students will receive some sort of, and as I tease and say, real financial aid.
Right.
We'll have anywhere from 40 to 60% of our students will be first generation students. One of our great commencement stories, I had a student lining up for commencement. And I'd known this kid, I don't know, I guess it's my second or third year. So I'd known him 2 or 3 years. And he says to me, lining up for commencement, said, I am the first in my family in 3 generations to graduate from high school.
Wow. Not college, high school.
High school.
3 generations.
3 generations. First ever in college.
That's 60 years.
Absolutely. That's our place in society. I mean, oftentimes when I'm changing the subject, I mean, when we talk about we punch above our weight, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. We're talking about we're reaching out and educating students, providing them opportunity to be educated. That students from families that it will absolutely have a generational impact. As you discovered in the in the commencement exercise that you participated in. I was, during the time that you spoke, I had been recently invited to interview to serve as president.
Oh, really?
And so I thought, well, let me get to know the college.
Right.
And so it was a Sunday afternoon. I said, I'll just drive over, I'll just sneak in, and I will take a look at how they do their commencement. And I get there, and none other than Roland Martin is the commencement speaker. I'd never seen. Now, I spent many years at Texas Christian University, Texas A&M University. You know where I'm going. I'd never seen a commencement speaker like a Roland Martin.
Look,
I mean, I don't know, the students said you got crunk, you got turned, you turned it up. I mean.
Well, look, first of all, here's my fundamental problem with commencements. First, when I did the Grambling commencement, so the president, he goes, this is a solemn occasion, and so can we hold the noise down? And I was like, oh, damn, solemn occasion? I'm like, no, commencements are supposed to be rowdy. They supposed, so when he did that, I walked out, I was like, look, man, I said, listen. I said, hey, I appreciate the symphonic music and that boring, at that graduation song. I said, man, look, I came here for a black band. I came here for an HBCU sound. So I tell this band, y'all said, y'all got 60 seconds to crank it up. And that's the thing. And matter of fact, so Lemoyne, the same thing. They had the brother, he was playing the piano, was Pomp and Circumstance. I was like, I need the black version of Pomp and Circumstance. I need you to put the Billy Preston spin on it. So that's why at Lane graduation, I was like, the band ain't here. And then the choir was singing. I was like, man, they singing these choral songs. and what happened was the choir director was also the choir director at New Olivet in Memphis.
Yes.
I've done 7 or 8 years, Pastor Whalem's, I've done his men's month. So I was sitting there, I was on stage.
I know you.
I said, hold up. I said, man, that choir director looked familiar. I said, hold up, that's the brother at New Olivet. So I walked up, I was like, look, I'm gonna give you a cue. Y'all gonna have to sing a gospel song.
And they did.
I said, I am not trying to sit here and keep hearing this. This is a black school. I said, I appreciate all that choral music. Y'all gonna have to sing a gospel song. And that's what happened. Look, I got no problem. Because here's my philosophy. I tell everybody this here. The commencement speaker has rights no one else has. When you get up on that microphone,
you got it. It's yours.
President, everybody sit back there. It's yours. So you do what you do. And here's the deal. If anybody got a problem, then look, they deal with it later. But at that point, because I just believe the students should have an experience that they'll never forget. And it's not one of those just forgettable, I was bored, they played the music, we walked across the, no. We about to turn it up in here.
Yeah, you did. But now I tell you what. Now you talking all that noise like it was like almost sounded like you were having like a rap party or something. But no, let's be serious. You got turned. You got the students fired up, but then you delivered.
Oh, no, I'm going to do the speech. Let's be clear.
You delivered a message.
I'm going to do the speech.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do that now.
Yes,
I'm good there. It's the other stuff that I'm telling you, it literally drives me crazy when I do these graduations. And because I'm on stage and I'm like speaking to everybody, and all this sort of stuff.
Yes, you were. Taking selfies.
Everybody else. I'm like, why y'all so damn serious?
Everybody sitting on the stage.
Everybody like, oh.
Roland Martin is.
And I'm like,
got his camera out.
Right?
Students got their cameras out.
Why are y'all? I don't understand. Like, seriously, it bothers me because, again, man, you've been praying for this day. You've been praying. You've been saving money. It's been a struggle for a lot of parents. I'm like, nah, man, this got to be a party. You got to feel it. So that's all, like I say, so whether I've done South Carolina State we cranked it up. They were stepping in the aisles and they were going. People like, what the hell? I was like, look, man. I said, look, we gonna enjoy ourselves here.
It was a party.
So that's just my philosophy. That's my philosophy. Plus, I want to make it harder on that speaker the next year.
Well, you did.
See,
I was inviting the speaker the next year, and I was like, well, okay.
See, I want that president to go, dang.
Yeah, it was rough.
Who I'm gonna have to do
Yeah,
next year.
you put it on me.
All right, I want to.
You put the pressure on.
There you go. There you go. Matter of fact, Freddie Haynes did. I think he did Grambling. He called me. He said, "They told me you were here 2 years ago." I was like, "Yeah, you gonna have to deliver." I said, "Frat, I said, yeah, you gonna have to do something at that graduation." I said, because then the other students be like, I've had mother presidents say, "Man, you got my juniors all on my behind now."
They ready now.
Who we gonna have? I said, "That's all." I said, "Do it." So I always enjoy them, but absolutely, they got to be. They are celebrations. They are not serious affairs.
Well,
that's my whole deal with it.
Well, listen, I don't know how long I have, but I want to say thank you, and I want to thank you for being our voice, for speaking on our behalf. I listen to you nightly. I don't always agree with your rants.
I mean, you gotta be wrong sometimes.
Yeah, well, I do. Even brother to brother. Yeah. But I appreciate the authenticity to your voice. I appreciate the depth of thought. I appreciate your boldness and your fearlessness in bringing forth the relevant issues of the day for our community. And I say thank you.
I appreciate it.
I get to listen to you nightly.
Look, the way you see me at that commencement, that's the way I'm on the show, that's the way I'm in person. I just think that we're now operating in a moment where no matter what space we're in, we have to be looking at our black institution, I think, totally different.
Yeah. I thank you for your critiques. I mean, because you give some critiques that make me feel uncomfortable as a proper Negro, running an institution. There's some critiques of institutions that I just go, okay, I got to deal with that.
Well,
as I'm relaxing, at the end of the day, and I'm relaxing, then I got to get tense again because I'm listening to Roland Martin.
Well, this is what I say. I said, if you're looking to feel comfortable, and you're looking for somebody who can pray with you, who can advise you, call my wife. She's an ordained minister. She'll lay hands on you. She'll offer advice and counsel. She's a life coach. I said, so God has given her a spirit of comfort. I said, God gave me a spirit of discomfort. My job is to make folk uncomfortable. We call it the butt dance. When I was on television, I said, when I'm debating somebody and you start seeing them like moving it, I said, that's called a butt dance. I want to make it uncomfortable because I think where we are, and when I talk about our black institutions, I'm talking about not just HBCUs, I'm talking about black media. I'm talking
the
about
black media. You really helped me to understand the black media, folks.
I'm talking about all of our institutions. Because I go back to what Dr. King wrote in Where Do We Go From Here, KSL Community, when he said there are 4 institutions that are positioned to liberate black people. The Negro Church, the Negro Press, Negro fraternities and sororities, and Negro professional organizations. But this is the line that stood out. He said, none of them have fully committed themselves to black liberation.
Wow.
And so that one passage just sticks with me. And what he said about the Negro Press was, he said the Negro Press must always maintain its militancy and not fall for the conservative. And that stands out. And I think that what happens is, sometimes we want to adjust and shift, and we want to keep making them comfortable.
Yeah.
And keep making ourselves comfortable. When in fact we've got to be constantly pushing and challenging and prodding and go further and take more risk and to do more. And that's just sort of how I've always seen it. Just that we have to have those disruptors who are not comfortable being where we are, that we can actually, or as I say, always say, I'm tired of us having survive conversations.
Yeah.
I want thrive conversations.
Absolutely.
And that's really what
Absolutely.
I'm constantly trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, and I heard that in your message. The piece when you did that kind of master class on Black News Channel and just kind of walked us through, you know, how it was set up and how it was funded and the wonderful personalities that they hired, but the fault lines and the challenges. I mean, you really helped me to understand media. But then also, you know, I can't look at you offer a critique of black media without turning the lens to what I'm doing at Lane College and think, okay, so, all right. So, you know, how am I funded? You know, how am I treating students? How are my people treating students? How are we treating these students, educated? How are we treating this customer, lifting this person up? How are we setting these persons up for success? What's our value to the greater community? You know, those. You know, for me, I'm reinterpreting those conversations
because they apply across the board.
It absolutely does.
And that's why, like, I've got a few people who've been a little bit upset with me with my critique of HBCUs when it comes to sports and media rights deals. And my whole deal has been, do you have expertise at the table who are negotiating the best deals?
Yeah.
Do you have people who know how these things work? You might have a general counsel.
Yeah.
But are they an expert in this area? Because I fundamentally believe that we're totally not maximizing our potential.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
And we're not selling the collective.
I agree with you 100%.
King talked. It said same thing. April 3rd, '68, Mason Temple. MLK says, black people individually are poor, but collectively, we're one of the largest economies in the world.
Absolutely.
So what is happening is, again, so this is just how I think from so what conference?
SIAC.
Okay, so you might have schools that are trying to do individual deals, but you're too small.
Right.
But how many conference schools in SIAC?
Maybe 16.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're one of 16.
Yes.
So if they're now selling 16, but not 16 sports, 16 cultures.
Yeah.
16 student bodies.
Right.
16 alumni.
That's a collective.
16 cities with black population.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, when you go out, you're selling that. You're not selling how many people are actually watching a sports program. And so when we start realizing the power of the collective, not the individual, then all of a sudden when all of us can get paid, all of us can grow.
Absolutely.
That changes the game.
Well, yeah, and if you think about the conferences and start to think about what we could do together in collaboration, if we were innovative. I mean, you had SIAC, SWAC, the MEAC, CIAA, the Gulf Star, I believe it's Gulf Star. I mean, you start to think about those conferences coming together, doing a basketball tournament, doing a football doing a baseball championship, doing a softball, doing a volleyball championship,
doing a massive academic competition,
doing a massive HBCU.
See again though. See, that's going from the singular to the collective, and now how are you now selling, promoting, and marketing collective? That's really so. It's this.
Many of us in metropolitan areas.
There you go. And again, what we're doing is we're only thinking about our schools versus where, for me, I think student body, alumni, external population. So now, if I'm selling that. Now, if I got those three elements of one school, now multiplied by 16, now multiplied by 4 or 5 conferences, now all of a sudden my dynamic is totally different.
Absolutely.
And so that's part of how, for me, using the show to force us to see and think differently, and be more creative, to maximize what we have, because literally and I get why we do it. Black people have made the most out of the little that we've been
Absolutely.
given. My grandfather would sit here, all the family would gather on Sundays, we would have gumbos, and look, it's 56 people in the house. They had 8 kids, each one of their kids had at least 5 kids.
Yep. So
my grandparents had 42 grandkids, like 80 great-grandkids, like 130 great-great. So we all, big gatherings with nothing. So it'd be 2 chickens in that gumbo pot, and you had some meat in that pot. And this is what I said. I said, well, how about one day if we're not talking about how he took 2 chickens in a gumbo pot, and we each had a little meat in our bowl. But how about we had a conversation that we had 8 chickens?
Yes, sir.
So for me, that's where I want us to go.
Yeah.
That where we're having thriving conversations.
Well, and thriving, and I think also we have to get out of our way. So one of the challenging conversations that happen sometimes is there's conversations about, how do we educate low income? How do we educate first generation students? There will be some grant competition. Some major funder will fund some major department at some major research one institution to study that. And I said, whoa.
Right.
Whoa, there are 102 of us. That's what we major in.
Right.
That's what we're experts in. That's what we do. If you want to know how to do that, come sit at our feet and let's chat about this.
Right. Don't spend money to study it.
You don't have to. You don't
spend
have to
money
spend
where
this.
we're doing it.
Absolutely. Make the investment here, and you will see an immediate return on your investment. Every time we get into a political season and folks are making major contributions to politicians, I said, well, half of y'all, at least half of y'all are going to spend your money on the wrong person.
Right.
Because
somebody's going to lose.
Somebody's going to lose, at least half of you. You can make an investment in Lane College. You make an investment in an HBCU, and it's a guaranteed return.
Right.
It's a guaranteed return on the least of these.
Mm-hmm.
On these persons who society, in some instances, society has given up on educating.
Mm-hmm.
And we bring that student in, and 4 years later, we send them to medical school, and 4 years later, we're sending them into professions. 4 years later, they're becoming the head of their house. They're leading our communities. We take those dollars, do more with those dollars. Well, then I would say, I might pick on our politicians. I'm on the Roland Martin show. Than many of our politicians would do, because we're gonna give you a direct return on your dollar.
But also what you're saying though, and this is because I've had to explain this to people. I'll have folks who will say, man, if our black entertainers would just give. I said, no. I said, you trying to get a handful to give $1 million. I said, when you look at Bernie Sanders, when he ran others, his average donation was $27.
Absolutely.
I said, again, collective. If you got 1,000 people, give it. Look, I've experienced it with my show. In 2020, COVID hit, advertising dried up, and people were not doing deals. They were putting it off. My donors, my fan base that year gave $672,000.
Wow.
2021 fan base gave $827,000. This was a collection of $1 Cash App, $5 money order. Most of them were $50 donations. There were some people, like one brother, he said, man, look, I heard you building your app. I'm tired of YouTube buffering. Here's $5,000. But somebody else gave $5,000. I appreciate the $5,000 and the $5,000 the same way. But collectively,
absolutely,
it was $800,000+. That is what allowed us to buy new equipment, new studio, new lighting.
Get a nice set. I love the set. Nice good set. Yes.
But to your point, when you see it, that kid who said I'm the first in 3 generations, then that's why I openly share that and show, hey, this is $60,000, this is $20,000, because I want them to see what it costs, and then when we get it, then when they see what we're doing with it, like, oh man, my donation went somewhere to serve the purpose.
Absolutely.
So that's really it's sort of the exact same thing. What you're saying is, yo, you give $25, you give $50, you're gonna see that return.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, keep swinging. I look forward to being back on campus.
We'll gotta have you back.
I need to get some swag because I only wear swag on my show to schools that I've been to.
Listen.
So
it's on the way.
Here's what I got. I got my stole, but I don't think they sent the honorary degree. Because you know what happened? Here's what happened. It's a funny story, straight up. So they gave me a Toomey leather backpack. And it was some other stuff that was in it.
That's been our gift, yes.
Okay, all right. So what happened was, for some reason...
It didn't get in the backpack.
No. I don't think it got in the backpack.
It didn't get in the backpack.
Because I've been looking for it. I got the stole. And I've been like, I cannot find this degree. But what happened was, the thing got sent to Chicago.
I see one of my colleagues standing right here. Let's work on that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It got sent to Chicago, but then, for some reason, then my staff... it got sent to Chicago. Then, for some reason, it got sent back to Lane. So they were texting me like, did you get it? I was like, yo, we ain't got no package. There was no tracking number. It was actually sitting in the president's office. They had no idea. It was like 4 months later. They called us. They said, this box been sitting here.
Well, listen.
And then they...
Tangela Poole, my CFO, my Vice President of Academic Affairs is right here, right now. Daryl Coleman, we will get you your honorary degree.
It was the funniest thing because they kept calling. I was like, where the bag? And then finally they were like, no, we sent it. And we were like, yo, where it said it showed up. We have no idea where it went. And
somebody walking around with your degree.
No. It ended up sending it back to Lane, and no one at Lane knew. And then one day somebody called. They said, we were in the president's office. That was a box. We opened it up. Your backpack and the award was in the backpack. It was
ouch.
It was the crazy. Like that was y'all sent it. They sent it to me. It's supposed to send it to me in D.C. My staff in Chicago. We had a notice that it got picked up, but it never got delivered. There was no, we literally had, it got picked up on this date, this time, but there was no number, nothing. We couldn't find it. Somehow they sent it back to Lane, and it was sitting in the corner for like 3 months. Then we got a call. They were like, we just came across this box. Here it is. It was.
Well, you will get another box with your swag in it.
Because I have.
And when we get out there, I'll get your sweatshirt size.
All right. Because in my studio, I have on my wall all the honorary degrees. I have 6. I have 3 up. So I have the stole in my house that's hanging. And I'm like, I need to. I told my staff. I said, call Lemoyne. I said, call Lemoyne and call Lane. I said, and call South Carolina State. Those are 3 that are missing. I got the stones of Lane and Stillman. And I was like, where is the doggone degree? The staff was like, I don't know. So we gonna make that happen. And so we do that. I'm gonna get it boxed, and it's gonna be. I have a whole wall in my studio with all of the degrees, and that Lane honorary degree will be there.
I love it.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Continue. Good luck.
Hey man, God bless you.
Likewise.
Thank you.